All right, y'all. So we're about to get into the tea because it is hot. But before we do that, we got to talk about this group trip to Vietnam, March 14th through the 20th of 2026. I want you to be there. If you have seen our trips to Bali, to Thailand, to Zanzibar, and our upcoming one to Cape Town, you don't want to miss this one to Vietnam. People ask me, why did I choose Vietnam? I mean, look at it. We got good pricing in terms of the currency conversion, so the dollar takes you further. We got beautiful landscapes and we got great Vietnamese food and shopping. Plus, 3 cities, so we're gonna be running around this country looking all types of crazy and all types of lit. And we got a 2 day luxury cruise, y'all. A 2 day luxury cruise. So I need you to go ahead and make your reservation today. Go ahead and make your deposit today. You can put it on a payment plan. Click the link in the description. Now we can really get into this tea. Hmm. Y'all, we got a lot to discuss. Let me know if you can hear me and see me clearly. Before we start, before we get into it, I need to know if y'all can hear me and see me clearly. Let me know. Let me know. Because we want to get this thing jumping. Okay, perfect. The people says it's perfect. Let's go ahead and get into the tea. All good. Y'all know I had to double check because it's been a lot of craziness this week. Let's dive right in. Y'all, Karen is back. Karen is back. The Grand Dame is back for a 60 minutes style interview that is set to air during the season finale of The Real Housewives of Potomac. I told y'all, I said this will be the ideal scenario. I mean, it's really the only scenario, right? For Karen and Andy to do a sit down, but this man then went to her home. Okay. He's been going to her home. Andy then showed up in Potomac. Okay. In Potomac, greeted at the door by Andy Cohen. It appears that Bravo's caught the moment that Karen came home to the family. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And Karen says, it's time to talk about my addiction. Let's get into it, y'all. I gotta go ahead and give y'all the press release version first, right? And we'll dive into everything else. Trust and believe, right? But this is from Variety, right? And they're basically saying that Karen will be sitting down with Andy after her prison release. The mid-season trailer has just premiered at BravoCon, y'all. For those of you guys like myself who are not there, I happened to see it first on the Real Housewives, the Real House Moms of Bravo's page, and we'll go there in just one second to get a little bit of a Wendy update as well. But it's revealed at the end of the mid-season trailer that Andy arrives at Karen's house, or at least what appears to be Karen's house, for a one-on-one sit-down that will air during the finale. Apparently, the crowd began whooping and burst into applause. Y'all know that she was released from prison on September the 2nd after having served 6 months. She was arrested in March 2024 in Potomac, Maryland for driving under the influence, driving while impaired, amongst other charges. She had 3 previous alcohol-related driving offenses in the past. During the entirety of the season 9, she proclaimed her innocence and maintained that she would be exonerated. She was then later convicted on all charges at trial in December 2024 and entered a treatment facility. She did not attend the season 9 reunion, which was taped after her conviction and aired in February of this year. But she did record a video message saying, "No, I'm not an alcoholic. Let's be clear." Huger did say that it was perhaps time to give up her Grand Dame mantle, the nickname she's proudly worn for years, in order to just be Karen. Now, apparently now she's taken a little bit of a different path in this interview, because at the end, you hear her say, off camera, you can hear her say, "I'm good, thank you." And then, Andy greets Ray at the door when he walks in. Andy sits down for the interview and he says, "Here we are. You are a free woman." And Karen says, "It's time to talk about my addiction." Here it is. Here it is. Okay. Now apparently during the BravoCon panel for Potomac, Giselle says she's been spending time with Karen and that she's been putting in the work, but she was unclear about whether or not, apparently, this is what the thing says, whether or not Karen would be making an appearance or sitting down on any of the panels. I don't know what Karen will be doing at BravoCon, but I'm assuming she will be somewhere and that we will see her somewhere. Okay. The finale is also looking to showcase the current plight of Wendy and Eddie, whose arrest on multiple fraud charges in October shocked the Bravo sphere. You can hear Eddie say, "We've gone through a lot in our lives together." And then he says, "But this takes the cake." And then she replies, "How do you think this is going to affect our marriage before the two of them embrace one another?" I want to get into something that Wendy says at BravoCon. Stand by. All right, we here. Can we hear it?
Read your messages. I can't respond to everyone, but your love and support means the world to me. It's an unfortunate situation, and right now I can't say too much, but I will say when the time is right, I will share my story with everyone. And for now, they're just allegations, so we will continue to push forward. Okay. I read your messages. I can't respond to everyone, but
so Wendy asserts that right now these are just allegations and there's nothing else that she can say. Okay. There's one more other clip out here of Dr. Wendy, and it's on virtual reality because they ask her why she chose to attend BravoCon despite the ongoing fraud allegations. So listen to her explanation here.
Your faith, acknowledge your supporters. You're here at BravoCon, of course. Why was it important for you to show up and be public and speak your piece to the extent that you can right now?
Yeah, I think for Eddie and I, it's important for us because, like I mentioned, at this point, they are just allegations. And a model that we often say to each other, even to our children, because they play sports, is chin up. Even if the game is not on your side, even if you're not winning, even if you lose, you always hold your chin up. And I live by that. And so here I am with you guys, chin up.
Amen. Now, switching gears out of nation.
All right. So Wendy says that, she and her husband tell their kids, when they're playing sports, despite whether or not you are winning or losing, and even if it looks like you're losing, that you keep your chin up. Chin up. Chin up, peoples. Chin up. Strap that chin up if you need to. Pull that chin up. Pull up your bootstraps. Keep the chin high. Okay? Listen, I don't even know. I mean, I have to give it to them because, listen, for me, y'all might have to be pulling me off the cliff, okay? Y'all might have to be pulling me off the cliff. I think it's just the mere fact of all of the charges and things. I think I would just be like sitting on the edge of the house. Somebody would have to come get me. Y'all. I'm just telling y'all 100. I'm being for real with y'all. So listen, if she can keep her chin up and they can show up to these events and whatnot, whoo, maybe I just ain't built the same way. Because Lord have mercy, good Lord knows y'all will have to pull me off the roof of the house. You have to get me off the roof of the house. I am not an advocate of any type of self-harm or nothing like that. But I'm just saying, I would be on the verge of a breakdown. I would be on the verge of a breakdown. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, indeed. I might be locked up. Locked up, they won't let me out. I might be locked up somewhere. And that's just, I mean, I just don't know. So anyway, Wendy is there, and that is why she is there. So let's get into the trailer of it all. I want to pull up the visual of Karen again because I feel like, I mean, she's back. All right, so there's a lot that's happening in this trailer, y'all. I'm gonna break down the specifics real quick for everybody that if you haven't seen it yet, I'll pull up just a I can't go over it because YouTube is really cracking down on scene by scene, like scene breakdowns and the audio and whatnot. But I'm going to give you a bit of a rundown of the biggest moments of the trailer. Obviously, the Wendy and Eddie come towards the end. Obviously, the Karen of it all is right at the end. I'll be interested to see how they break down this season finale. It may be an hour and a half long, potentially, but I would. So there's a lot happening in this. The main things that are going on is that the girls are taking a cast trip to Colorado. Now, why might they be going to Colorado after they've just gone to the fabulous Nevis? Well, you guys know that Angel has the business out in Colorado. So, you know, and I'm not familiar with the specifics of her business, but it sounds like something for which, you know, people can go on some type of trip and they can have some type of adventures in the wild, in the wilderness and whatnot. It sounds like it could be fun, but they are still putting this girl through it. Apparently, Giselle at one point in time tells the group that Angel had been kicked out their house. Yes, because Angel tells Kiana that they were apparently headed back to Colorado, and then they had to go back to Colorado sooner. So Giselle is alleging that the girl had been kicked out their home. All right. Then the group gets to Colorado, and apparently they're not staying in Angel's home, and everybody's wondering why we're not staying at your place. And apparently a lot of things were going wrong at Angel's home. She just, I mean, listen, that poor girl, she just, Lord have mercy. When I tell you, I don't think I ever seen somebody have such a harsh freshman season. It just ain't stopped. It just has not stopped. Okay. So, I don't know what that is. What is that? I'm looking at the comments. What is that? What is that? Is that some spam in the chat? Y'all let me know. So anyway, so there's that, y'all. Also, too, Monique is back in a major way in this mid-season trailer. Like, she's literally all up and through this. So if you were wondering where Monique was coming in at, obviously she comes in this week. She was at Bravo. She is at BravoCon, and we do see a snippet of her sit down with Giselle. She and Giselle seem to be okay for the most part in the rest of the trailer. And you do see some friction between Monique and Angel when Monique asks her about, because you know that Angel had referenced Chris Samuels being kind of like a big brother to Bobby, her husband. And so Monique says she recognizes some similarities in Angel being somebody who's been married to someone who was in the NFL. And Angel doesn't seem to take too kindly to that. So I don't know if we're going to see a Monique versus Angel or Angel versus Monique showdown, but there is going to be some back and forth betwixt the girls and Stacy, because it sounds like it is being revealed or intimated that Stacy and Chris may have The waters are muddy about what they actually did together based on what Ashley tells the group that Chris told her. So I I don't know. At first I was like, who cares? They single, they grown. At the end of the day, if she was single and they was grown or whatever the case may be, that's her business. But if I would listen, if people don't want to tell you that they didn't bump ugly with somebody, I do feel like nobody should really have to know that you bumped uglies with somebody. If you don't want them to know that you bump uglies with somebody, you don't owe your uglies to anybody. To be for real with you, now that I think about it, but on this show they'll make a mountain out of a molehill. So there's some stuff happening with that. Ashley is still going at it with Stacy. Stacy is kicking Tia out of her event right here, as you can see. She's gonna tell her in her accent to poof, vamoose, be gone, son of a gun, right? So you're gonna see that for sure. And the trailer is riveting. I will give you that. There's a lot happening in the trailer. This is kind of where you see Angel telling Kiarna, yeah, I was gonna go back to Colorado, and then we were gonna go back Monday. Now, Giselle tells the girls that she was kicked out the house or whatever like that. So I really don't know how this all works out. But they do get to Colorado in a private jet, it appears. But for the next thing they know, they will be eating at a gas station. So you do see a little bit of line dancing here, a little bit of Mary J walking. You see a little bit of private jet life, which please give me private jets. Like, yes, Housewives, yes, Potomac, yes, Elevation. Is it Elevation? We'll see. So, Tia's in charge of the girls on this trip. And not Tia, but Angel. Angel is in charge of the girls. I'm kind of interested in seeing her take on a bit more of a leadership role. Although I know they're about to get her. They're about to get her together. So as you see, Monique is there on the cash trip. You will see quite a bit of her, like I said, at least on this cash trip. And you can start to see all the things not working in the girls' home, or whatever place they're staying at or whatever like that. Unfortunately, y'all know it seems like the Black Housewives this year and all this year they've been doing things with kind of like a little bit of a Western theme. Y'all notice that? Atlanta Housewives, they went to where they go? They went to the Nashville, right? So they was down and dirty in the Nashville with all the cowboy hats and shebang bangs. Now Potomac is in Colorado and it's giving Cowgirl City. And then I think we heard that didn't the girls from Atlanta go to like Houston or something like that? Oh, it must be the Cowboy Carter of it all. Y'all right. Let me go blast that. I got to go back and watch that episode of Watch What Happens Live with Angel on it. Whoa, I got them. Yeah, that's it. Right. Say thank you. The Beyonce effect. It was Dallas. Okay, thank you, boo. Thank you. Meanwhile, I've been wearing cowboy boots since I was 8. So the girls they're in the Colorado somewhere. I don't know if it's like what part though. You see Mauricio is here. And then you will see Giselle telling Ashley and Mauricio to keep their tongues in their mouth. Hmm. This is where Monique tells Angel that she notices similarities between she and her. Angel says she's not willing to discuss that. Period. Dot. We'll see how that actually plays out. This is where the whole Stacy and Chris of it all comes back into play, as you can see here. Oh, Wendy and Eddie. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. I wonder how they explain this in the episode. I mean, because if I'm a producer, I'm going to be like, and I know that they can't really answer it because their lawyers would tell them not to. But I would still be like, so how do you find yourself in this situation? How like that? I think if I'm a good producer, that's what I'm asking. I'm not asking you, did you do it? Because I know you can't say that. But I am still probably going to ask you, so do how does one find themselves at the center of this level of controversy? Now, it's a little bit of a trick question, for which I know Wendy and Eddie are smarter than that. I would have to believe. I would have to believe. Right. Right. Look, they better not answer. Hey, boo. You ready to go to Vietnam, baby? Yo, I got, oh, side note, y'all. Hold up. Wait a minute. I got five more spots for Vietnam. I got $200 off vouchers. Just use code Richie 200. I tried to give them away to two other people who I knew wanted to go. They ain't used them yet, so have at it. Okay, have at it. If you've been looking for a sign, this is your sign. Bloop. Okay. How is it going to affect the marriage? Well, that will remain to be seen. Aww. Wah, wah. I don't want them to break up. Oh, look at this. Let me tell you something. Bravo they be on it, okay? To capture, if this is indeed the moment, because it does look like the moment that Karen has walked into her home to be reunited, and it feels so good with Ray and Raven. Y'all know that is some television right there. That is some television. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, that is some television. That's a moment, y'all. Like that is like people really live for those types of moments when you're doing television. You want to capture that type of thing. And to be able to capture that, that's TV gold. But you know what else is TV gold? This moment right here. To see Andy walk up in somebody's house on a show. Have we ever seen Andy walk in somebody's house? No, 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 no. Okay, we ain't seen it yet, but we about to see it this season. Andy then left New York to come right on down here to Potomac. Here we are. He says, "You're a free woman." And here's where she says, "It's time to talk about my addiction." There it is. You asked. You asked and you have received. Mm-hmm. Yup. And the Variety article notes that she had previously stated during the Potomac reunion that, or at least some point during that period of time, that she did not have an addiction. And so fast forward months later, after, being away, I would hasten to assume that, there's been a lot of breakthroughs that have probably occurred during that period of time. So I will put the trailer link in the description of the video. Hold on for a second. Stand by. I'll just give you the link right now. You can watch it right here. But don't leave the video. I mean, we ain't done yet. Okay. So you got the link right there. But I'll put it in the description of this video. So just stand by. Actually, let me just do it right now while we're on the live. So you ain't got to wait. All right. It's right below all of the, it's right in the description right now. So you have it there right now. But yeah, so we're going to see that in the finale according to Variety. So we got a couple of, probably about 7 or 8 weeks to wait for that, I would assume. So probably I would think that this is probably going to occur sometime after New Year. Let's look at the calendar. Let me look at the calendar and I could probably tell you right about when that will occur. So we'll be entering episode 7 on Sunday the 16th, 8 the 23rd, 9 the 30th, 10, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We probably won't get an episode that week. 13, 14, 15, 16. So probably by the end of January, I would say. Probably by the end of January. Yep. So Potomac is about to be all the way lit, y'all. Oh, look, I'm not mad at her for getting back to work. I mean, to me, it makes the most sense. If there was any, I don't know if there was any restitution because I can't remember, but people, the mortgage is always due. Okay. And if she had gone from being, because at one point in time, Ray was the primary breadwinner, but if she had gone to being the primary breadwinner of the family, then she has got to get back to work. I mean, I get it. And television is her job at this point. So as much as people love a takedown story, they also love a comeback. That's just the way it works. I don't know why people like a takedown, but they do love a comeback. And I don't think anybody really took Karen down. I think her addiction took her down. And now she has an opportunity to rise like a phoenix, Hopefully not. I think that there's a way you can do reality TV without relying on substances. But I will say this, but for some people, reality TV may remain a trigger. The work of it may remain a trigger because, you've got to be built tough in a certain type of way to be able to handle everything that certain characters have to handle. And given that, Karen has always kind of been the target of things, it's not surprising to me that she may have relied on something. Do I think it's the right thing to do? No, but I think as we've seen with celebrities, artists, And just even everyday people, life can feel for some people like boom, 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 boom. And the next thing you know, they end up turning to something that makes them feel a little less stressed, a little less something that'll take the edge off. And then my assumption would be that they need more and more and more of that. And you continue to work, you continue to go back to doing what you were doing, and then you need a little more. And then I would assume at that point, you don't know, you can't, you probably feel like you can't even function without having that little drink after you finish to, take the edge off of, whatever it may be, whether that's your job, whether that's your family, whether that's just your life. You feel like you're stuck in a vicious cycle. Then what happens is, it sounds like you get caught up and and that becomes your life. Boom. Now you got to have it. Then it's a cycle. Then you got to recover. Then you got to have some more to recover because it's just a vicious little thing. So, yeah. But yeah, I think that this season is going to be good. I think that I'm really super excited to see how it plays out. Um, you know, it's wild. I'm equally as I mean, I'm just super kind of like on the fence about what's going to happen with Wendy and Eddie. Like we know that those hearings have been pushed back until sometime in December. So, you know, what's going to happen with that and with them? And then I would have to think that I mean, Potomac has enough characters on there now to that's the benefit of Potomac at this point. They have enough people to round out whatever happens next for Wendy or Karen. So I think that as long as Potomac continues to evolve and get good character and get fun, like characters with personality and that are interesting, I think that they won't have a problem like some shows would have a problem. Like a New Jersey has a problem. Okay. Jersey has a serious problem because you can't take Teresa away from that show. If you do, it just becomes something else. That's just a fact. I mean, you could try. Now, will it do well? I don't know. Maybe if you added a Snooki or somebody like that, but outside of that, I mean, that's the danger with that show. But Potomac, I would assume as long as Giselle is in the mix, and Giselle seems relatively like a relatively safe bet, like I could see why a network wants to work with her, then you've probably got a good long ride for that particular franchise. I wouldn't see Giselle going anywhere because she's she's a good lead. She's a good lead. We may have our moments where we don't like something that Giselle does, but she is a good lead. She's a safe bet. Simply Shamar, thank you for the super chat. Says first step, she's brought it into the light. She may have more support systems that will help her. And hopefully so. Hopefully so. But when you enter that arena again, you do step back into the lion's den. Okay, Cass, I'm gonna have to go ahead and put you on out the thing. Sorry. I don't know what you're talking about, baby. But it looked like you're promoting something that we don't know about. Okay. If it was your own business or something like that, I'm cool with it. But I don't know what that is. So well, it's not about a person carrying a season. You don't want anybody to carry a season. You want a lead that can rally the people, right? Somebody that can grab them all together and bring them back around to where they need the ship to be going. Giselle can do that. She can. And she doesn't need to be the center of attention. She doesn't need she like the woman is literally, I feel like she's just in every scene having a good old time at this point. And I think that she is dependable. I mean, just from a working perspective, when I look at the show, I look at the work, and when I look at the people that are working, she is the person that I feel would be the most reliable. She's not on social media cutting up. She's not. Okay. She ain't paying social media no attention. So she ain't clapping back at fans. She doesn't, you don't hear about Giselle like, spilling the tea about the season to the blogs. You don't hear about that. I mean, if she could be talking, I mean, I think Giselle might be more likely to be planning what's going on behind the scenes with the girls, but not not to the people, not to the Associated Press, Um, she has been since the inception of the show, I think the favorite person. So it just seems like she is the safe bet, you know. She's been a pastor's wife, she's been in a sorority. I think she gets it. She understands how to lead the girls. Um, I think that's just what it is. I mean, and this is whether you like her or not, right? Again, we've all had moments where we're like, "Oh, Giselle, oh, that was so predictable," or like, "Oh, girl, you were wrong for that." But at the end of the day, what we have seen her be able to do is bring it back around, bring it back around. So that's just facts. Um, so yeah, I think that they're in good hands. I mean, regardless, moving forward, I do think that they're in good hands as long as she has a group of supporting players around her that are willing to do their part. And it seems to me like the ladies are willing to do their part, and they show up. Everybody is action oriented, and it's just personalities at this point. And that's what you want. You want the clash of the personalities. I don't feel like there's any one villain on this show. I feel like there's just people who are having severe misunderstandings, and even the person that they try to make a villain, like Stacy, who may indeed, she could very well be a villain, but we like her so much that it doesn't even really matter. Like, it's just, she's so affable, it's just like, okay, I think we're supposed to not like you. I think we really don't believe you, but my God, we kind of like you. Like, it's just very weird. And Ashley comes across like the annoying little bratty sister on this show. She does. It's like literally the annoying little bratty sister to Giselle, I should say. So, and Ashley does her part. I can say that. I mean, you may dislike her, but she's gonna stir up the juice, and she's gonna get the part. She's gonna get things stirring. I would hesitate to ever call her a villain. She might just be more like the annoying pot stirrer. She kind of reminds me of Whitney on Salt Lake City a little bit. I mean, just a smidge. Can you see that? Can anybody else see that? I mean, just a smidgers. She kind of gives me Whitney vibes. Mhm. That's who it is. That's exactly who it is. Yup. Mhm. Yep. Um, I'm reading y'all comments. Is Stacy 53? Oh, wow. She looks great. You know what I wish though? I wish that when Ashley was bone collecting, that she came across more like a bone collecting charade. A bone collecting charade is a little bit more. There's something slightly different about the way Sheree collects the bones, you know? And I don't know if it's age and a slyness that with which Sheree does it that makes it seem more, ooh, what do you know now? But I think it's also that Sheree is less aggressive with her bone collecting. Whereas Ashley is very in your face and gonna interrogate you. Sheree is gonna be like, I'm gonna just drop this information off and watch this bomb explode and slink back into the corner and let the girls blame Marlo. That is Sheree to me, you know? But whatever the case, Sheree was the original bone collector. You know? Somebody mentioned that they felt like the show could function without Ashley and without Wendy. If you do lose Wendy, I do feel like you lose something different. What's interesting about Wendy to me is I feel like every show has the sophisticated reader. And I think that if you lose Wendy, you do lose the sophisticated reader. You know, if you watch Wendy in her confessionals, I mean, Wendy is sitting perched and she's literally barely moving. The only thing that's moving is her head. And she knows that this outfit needs to stay in place. And she's going to deliver her lines with this smoothness and this regalness that the other ladies just can't do. I mean, she just does. I'm looking at somebody. Y'all comments are just, oh, y'all are savage. Y'all be the savages, man. Yeah, yes, that's it. It's there is a pretense with an international vibe. Um, but I disagree that I don't know that she's not sophisticated because I think that she presents sophistication. So whether or not she is or is not, that is her presentation. Kind of like Stacey's presentation. It is what it is. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like but Stacey is very different. Okay? They're very different in their sort of regalness because I think that Stacey leans into her quirk a bit more. You know, I can't. That's probably the best way to explain it. You understand what I'm saying? Somebody mentioned Candace. Now, Candace is a very natural librarian. Okay. She is a very, very natural librarian. I mean, the girl can effortlessly, savagely read you like a book, and then throw the book back on the shelf right where it went. Literally, you know, it'll I mean, she can literally cut you and slice and dice you if she wanted to. But I think that the conflict betwixt her and Giselle was just such that it was never going to be repaired in any meaningful way, at least for the foreseeable future. And that's the difference, I think, too. I think that Karen also presents as regal, but I think Karen at her core is Surrey County. And I mean that and I say that as someone who is also from a small town. I think that she has had to pull herself by her bootstraps, and she's had to present grand dameness in the face of continued adversity, and she was always going to look good doing it. But I think the regalness probably masked a pain that ran deeper than a lot of us ever knew. So when you heard her say that she was relinquishing the Grand Dame title and she just wanted to be Karen, I think in that way, she is probably learning to drop the pretense and just be Karen from Surrey County, in however that way may show up. Because the girls would always talk about her calling them. They would say she would be calling them all times, the night, and going on and on about such and such. And I'm like, that's why they would probably give her such a hard time, because they were having a hard time reconciling who that person was with the grand dame that maybe she presented herself to be. And the dual nature of having to do all that, I think it becomes very stressful after a while, and at some point it breaks, and now she's just free to be Karen. She's just free to be Karen from Surrey County, Virginia. These are my thoughts. Okay. So anyway, y'all, if you haven't seen the trailer, definitely go watch it. I think that this is going to be an amazing season. I'm already having a blast with this season. I think that everybody is doing the doggone thing. I think that they're going to continue to do the doggone thing, and I cannot wait to see where it goes. And all I can say is, Beverly Hills and Married to Medicine, they got some tough competition, because Salt Lake City and Potomac right now are eating it all up. Okay, eating it all up, and it's so entertaining to watch. It's really, really entertaining to watch. So if you haven't seen the trailer, I did put the link in the description of this video. And I would love to hear your comments. What do you think? Do you agree with what I said? Do you disagree with what I said? I'm fine with it if you disagree with it, but also give me examples. I want to read a dissertation. When I go through the comments, I want to be like, oh, that's a good point. Yes. I didn't even think about that. So yes, give me all that, because I'm that type of person. I'm a nerd. I'm a big nerd. So give it to me. All right. So anyway, y'all, make sure you guys, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, because sometimes we watch videos and we forget to subscribe. I know that I do. Also, like this video if you like reality TV related content, if you like anything that I said, or if you just like Real Housewives of Potomac. Okay. Tap the like button. And for those of you guys who are interested in travel, but you maybe have been on the fence about going to Vietnam, March 14th through the 20th, I have two expiring. They are going to expire soon. Coupons for $200 off of the entire trip. Just use Richie 200, all caps, at checkout. Okay. The link is also in the description with the coupon code. With that being said, y'all have a great weekend. I would say have a great weekend, but we got Bell Collective tonight. We got the Braxtons. Then Love and Marriage Huntsville is back. They are going to keep me busy. I'm trying to be. Okay. Now, with that being said, I will catch you guys in the next video. And also, thank you, StreamYard, for actually streaming this without turning my mic off or giving me any delays.